Bill Bratton now, he served 2 terms as the New York City Police Commissioner. Sir, thanks for being here. Security in D.C. has been increased. How concerned are you about the safety of these state capitals?
Very concerned, as you just indicated in your reporting, that we are in an incredible crisis at this time, where for the last 20 years, our biggest concern was international terrorism, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. Now it's here, and it's us. And it's the citizens of the United States, some of whom are rebelling against everything that we thought we believed in for the last 300 to 400 years.
Commissioner, how much harder is it to identify domestic terrorists than threats from abroad?
Much, much harder. That after 9/11, we put into place so many new laws that strengthen the ability of law enforcement, not only the feds, but local police. I had the privilege of leading Los Angeles and New York and saw firsthand and helped to participate in the building out of their capacity to deal with terrorism, particularly international terrorism, to a lesser extent, domestic terrorism, which was focused largely around the efforts of ISIS, for example, to encourage homegrown terrorists. We now have a situation, however, where we don't have many of the tools to battle domestic terrorism that we have to battle international terrorism. There are so many limitations on law enforcement and our ability to surveil, to interact with U.S. citizens participating in domestic planning, domestic terrorism in our country. It's going to have to be part of the tremendous debates that are going to occur after the new president comes into office and the new Congress is seated.
Commissioner Bratton, when you were the commissioner in New York City, you used to tell us that the most important thing you could be was transparent, that the people needed to know what the threat was so that they can conduct themselves accordingly. We're not seeing a level of transparency that you suggested back in the day in the federal government. Do you have any clue about why they're not being more forthcoming with us about specifics?
I think it's still the imprimatur of President Trump. Till he basically gets on that plane and flies out of Washington, they are still reporting up a chain of command to him. And I've been very disappointed that law enforcement officials have not been more present. Doing what I'm doing with you right now should be the head of the FBI, should be other senior law enforcement officials, instead of just getting little film clips as they're doing some of their collaborative meetings. We are so used to, or used to be used to, people coming out and telling us what they know, what you need to know as U.S. citizens. We're seeing very little of that at this particular point in time. I hope after January 20th, we get back to a situation where we can be more transparent, more forthcoming, and where we can have American law enforcement leadership being where they need to be, which is at those podiums talking to you rather than some of us former law enforcement officials.
Yeah, the more we know, the better it seems to be. Commissioner Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.